I reached a point last year when I realized that using a lot of social media actually made me really unhappy and it killed my creativity. Yeah, of course, social media has its benefits, and I was also using it as a source of inspiration and connection. But I unconsciously found myself comparing myself and my creations to other creators. And I was getting too influenced by what other people were doing online, and a lot of the people I follow, they do amazing stuff. And this led to me not believing in my own craft anymore, even though I was so inspired. And I started to feel a bit lost with what I was doing and creating, and I was back at square one sometimes, questioning my purpose in life and with my work. The problem was that I couldn't really hear my own creative and unique voice anymore. And looking back now, I actually felt a little anxious and stressed when I was using social media just a tiny bit too much. And this is coming from someone who's been quite conscious about the way I use social media and many other areas in life. And I'm a very pragmatic kind of person. And so over the last few months, I've been digging deeper into this issue of social media and productivity and creativity. And I read books like Deep Work and Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and also Essentialism by Greg McCown. And of course, what ultimately happened was that I started questioning my use of social media and its purpose in my life and as a creator. I became more conscious of my social media habits and more intentional about using Instagram and YouTube specifically. I quit Facebook last year because it just kind of bored me and it was too overwhelming for my senses. And for quite some time now, I've been creating more space and also silence away from these apps, which has led to me hearing my creative voice again more clearly. And I've been coming back to my own core as a creative and just generally feeling a lot more grounded and chilled. And of course, the more this is happening and this process is going on within me and my life and the way I create, the more I question everything about social media and the more I reflect and just see what it's doing to us. And I'm constantly trying to find answers as to how to keep social media in my life and yet still be able to enjoy my life, be really present, and also create my best work. I mean, let's be honest, we're all really messing with our brains when we use Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter too much. And a lot of us use these apps way more than it's healthy for us. On a positive note though, there's more and more YouTube creators like Casey Neistat.
And so long as I'm whipping this thing out 50 times a day, it's filling my brain with this noise.
And Yes Theory.
Phones always meant to be taking up so much of our time? And why are they becoming more and more of a problem?
And some others like Matt Diavella.
But it wasn't the content that I was addicted to. It wasn't the likes, comments, and DMs. It was the anticipation of what could be.
Who started talking about the issue of social media use and how we can use it more intentionally in our lives. And so I really love that they do that. And they're actually using their voice to amplify bigger messages. Now here's the thing though, so many people, so many creators, so many people starting businesses, they worry about being unique and original and how to stand out. Because yes, there is so much noise out there, so many people creating content. But here's the solution. It's actually really simple. Stop consuming so much content on social media. When people start out, they find inspiration from other creators, and of course, we imitate them a little bit, and that's what inspiration is for. And of course, it's something that also helped me get to where I am today. But let's take photographers on Instagram, for example. Specifically landscape. Many of them create very similar photographs, and there's even an account on Instagram that collects these very similar photos at all these very similar places, and it just all looks like everybody's creating the same thing. And of course, if that's all we consume, me as a photographer, if all I do is follow other photographers who all sort of create very similar style photographs, then I'm gonna end up creating very similar ones too. And a lot of these photographers and also travel vloggers on YouTube, they travel to these very specific places to get the shot. And then they put it on Instagram because they know it's gonna get a lot of likes and comments. And then others see, oh, they get a lot of likes and comments, so I'm gonna go and travel to that place and take the same shot and put it on my account so I get more followers in the end. It's just a vicious cycle. And yes, especially as creatives and artists, we do draw a lot of inspiration from each other and from outside sources. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just becomes way too toxic when we do that too much. There really is a danger in getting too much information and inspiration from outside of us. In the beginning, when someone is starting out, I do encourage to see and look what others are doing and imitate, their creations in a way, not copy them, but imitate. And that can be a really important part of the process of learning a craft. But eventually, though, we have to move on and really find inspiration from within, because I think that that's the only way we can be truly unique and create original pieces of art and creations and videos and photographs and music and paintings and yeah. Or we watch tutorials and how-to videos and we want to learn stuff, but we don't actually implement what we learn. Instead, we just watch more tutorials and more how-to videos. The only way to learn is to actually take action and actually create and implement. Consuming a lot of content from other people programs us with other people's ideas and points of views and ways of doing things, instead of actually creating from our own core, from our own source of creativity, which we all have. And I also think that consuming too much social media content from others keeps us from deeply connecting to our path and our purpose as creators. And then there's the comparison game. I mean, everything is basically curated on Instagram. And so many of us end up feeling not pretty enough, not good enough, not creative enough, not successful enough, not wealthy enough. And we just keep on scrolling, and unconsciously, because we don't even really notice what's happening on a conscious level, but unconsciously we end up feeling less than in so many different ways if we're not truly rooted in our own confidence. To an extent, we're all addicts, we're all junkies. We just consume content, we keep on, grabbing our phones, we have the twitch. But this constant checking and seeing if there's anything new and looking at other people's stuff, it kills your creativity. It's toxic. The bottom line is, though, I'm not saying that it's all evil. There's so many reasons why I love social media and I don't want to give it up for good at all. There's some really amazing benefits that we can get from social media, but we have to find more intentional, more conscious ways to make use of them, so that in the end we can all create more meaningful content and live more meaningful lives. So if you're a creator and you're striving to really do you and be original and unique in your creations and your art, you have to protect your creativity. You really have to safeguard it. Your creativity, your originality, everything that you need to know to create something that's truly you, it's all within you. You don't have to go looking for it on social media and anywhere else outside of you. I think we have to come back to learn to trust ourselves and what can come from our own well of inspiration and creativity. I go a lot more into detail about my own dilemma as a creator sharing my creations on social media, which is a whole conundrum in itself. But I did a whole podcast episode about that, and I also wrote actually a pretty big Instagram post. I got a lot of feedback, so I'll link those below in the description, so check them out if you want to dive deeper with me. And I know that in this video I didn't really give you any answers yet. That's in part because I'm still kind of looking for them or trying to clarify some of the answers that I've kind of received over the last few weeks and months, and the downloads that have been coming into my consciousness. And when I make sense of them, then I do want to make a video proposing how to really use social media as a creator in 2019 going forward. And that video is definitely gonna come. Just give me a minute. I do invite you though to share your points of views and your perspective and opinions and experiences as a creator with social media below in the comments. Let me know, let's have a discussion around this. If you enjoyed this video, then do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my other channel, Conni Creates. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. It's always such a pleasure to make these videos for you guys. I love creating videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah. Maybe you say hi? Hi, Lou. You're a really good boy. He was just underneath my chair the whole time, chilling. Yep.